kids to Disney. There, I said it. Hi friends, Laura Kromzak here with the Disney Slowdown, and I bet you're just a little confused as to why I would say that. Why would a Disney vlogger say, don't take your kids to Disney? Well, let me explain. I have been seeing in some of the groups recently of people who have regretted taking a Disney vacation. And when you read the long post of everything they did and all the research and all the money they spent, somewhere in there is usually like, we're not really Disney people. And I realized there are some people who should never take a trip to Disney World. And I know you feel obligated. And so this is your permission with context. I'm going to tell you why we feel this way as well, give you a little bit of a history from my perspective, and then give you some alternatives. So hang out with me till the very end. And if you're new here, welcome. This is a little bit of an odd video, but I'm glad you're here joining me. And if you are returning to the channel, welcome back. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for tuning in. So when I was seeing these posts, at first, I guess when I started going to Disney myself, I didn't quite understand it because I do enjoy Disney. I love going to Disney, especially by myself. Sometimes your family can ruin the experience. Let's just be honest. But I also know that it's really expensive and it takes a lot of planning and effort and preparation. And mama, that usually falls on your shoulders, right? I have been there too. And when you spend so much time and effort on something, what you want, your reward for all of that effort spent is appreciation. The light in your kids' eyes, like, this is amazing. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, this is the best trip ever. Like, that's reward for all the effort you put into it. But there are probably some situations, and your family may fall into these categories, where all of your time and effort, they're not going to elicit those emotions. And that's where the frustration comes in. So I said just a minute ago, if you are not Disney people, hi there. Malaya, I think I said that right. If you are not Disney people, don't plan a trip. I don't care if your kids are of the right age. But if they're into other things and not necessarily Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, or my kids aren't that little anymore. I don't know. They don't have a Bluey situation set up yet in the parks, although I heard that's coming. They're redoing Rafiki's Planet for right now. So it's closed, which I was very bummed about. I think I knew that before and I just blocked it from my mind. But yeah, Bluey's coming, but Bluey's not there yet. Hi there. The Keeley brothers, hello. But if your kids are into something else, it's okay to not take them to Disney, because you're not going to get that response that you're looking for all of your effort that you're going to put into it. I've got a friend whose daughter is 10 this year. She turns 10 in like November, I believe. She's really into dragons. So they booked a themed house. Yes, you can find them all over Orlando. This girl's going to be staying a week in a dragon bedroom. And I've seen the pictures and it looks super cool. Like, just amazing. And they want to spend time at this house. This house has everything. They've got their own private pool. It's a full, big, huge house. Plus it's on a resort. Like, they want to spend time at the place they've booked. They don't want to book up all their days, but they're also going to take her to Epic Universe because she wants to spend time in Isle of Berk. Not that there's anything wrong with Disney, but this little girl's eyes are going to light up because she gets to meet Toothless, you know? And so that's something you need to consider. If you are not crowd people, Disney is very people-y. There are a lot of people, and that can be stressful in and of itself. I have my cousin, when I first started, I don't remember if it was when I first got my passes or when I first started this channel. I was talking to my cousin and she said, we feel like we have to take our oldest, before she's out of high school. We want to take her on this big trip, and I guess we have to do Disney, but we're really not looking forward to it. None of them are crowd people, so Disney's going to be absolutely miserable to them. And when she told me that, it really didn't click with me. And I was like, "Oh, come on, it'll be fun. It'll be great." But no, it's not. For people who don't like crowds and they don't like to be around a lot of people, there are not many down times at Disney anymore where you can go and the parks don't feel crowded, especially Magic Kingdom. You might get lucky, Epcot, Hollywood, maybe Animal Kingdom. Now for sure, Animal Kingdom is going to be darn near empty, but Magic Kingdom's always busy, and frankly, I try to avoid it. But I am going in a couple of weeks. I promised my friend Brandy. I did that video. I guess when this thing posts and I can add a video, I will put that here. I planned her single day at Magic Kingdom. She took some of my advice, but mostly she said she's going to wait for me to show up and then they're going to follow me around. So I'm pretty much going to drag them around Magic Kingdom for the day. But yeah, it's a lot of planning, and I usually try to avoid Magic Kingdom. I really don't spend a lot of time there. But, sorry, I had to go live because I have had zero time to do any video editing. I still have videos from the fall that I haven't put up yet because I just don't have time to sit down. I just don't have time to sit down and edit. And guess what? Well, you can't see behind me now, thank goodness, because my bed's a mess and I didn't even make it. We are going on a cruise. I'm so excited. We leave Thursday night. That's tomorrow night. We're leaving tomorrow night and I'm still doing laundry. There we go. So we're going on a cruise. I'm so excited. The weekend after that, I'm going to another event, which I have talked about on this channel. I'll give you a hint. We are going to the Orlando Informer Meetup at Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. I'm so excited and I cannot wait to show you. This is a bucket list item for me, so I can't wait to show you all about it. And then I'm going to Disney. So we have a lot coming up and I just don't have time to edit videos. That was the whole point of that. All right. Here's something else. I know that like Disney is some kind of I don't know, a stigma maybe. And I don't want you to feel like saying we can't afford it is your only reason. That's why I'm giving you these other reasons, because that's the last thing you want to say to anybody, right? I don't know. Maybe you have people in your life that when you say we're not taking it, we're not taking our kids to Disney, they'd be like, "Oh, really? You're not?" The last thing you want to say is, oh, we can't afford it. Like, you don't want to admit that you can't afford this family vacation that everybody feels like you should be able to do. Disney's freaking expensive. I get it. And there's so much more you could do with that money, especially if you're not Disney people, especially if you guys are not crowd people. And I've got some ideas for you, so hang on just a minute. And I just lost my train of thought. That's what happens when you go live. Sometimes you just lose it. Anyway, don't feel bad because you can't afford it or you don't want to allocate your vacation money to Disney. I'm giving you permission to not be that way. The big question is, why do we feel this way? Well, I can tell you. Way back in the day when we only had cable and streaming services were not even a thought in anybody's mind, we only had cable. Disney, the Disney Channel, was actually a premium channel. You had to pay extra to have that. And I remember this, and it was in the late 90s, early 2000s. I mean, Disney Channel, when cable was a thing and you had cable packages, and I know I'm totally dating myself, but that's fine. Disney was like HBO and, Cinemax and some of those other channels. They were premium channels. You had to pay extra to have those. And you already were paying quite a bit for this cable service. So to pay for a premium channel, you really had to be committed to it. The smartest thing that Disney ever did, and I'm convinced it was the smartest thing they ever did in the history of Disney, and that was to make that Disney Channel part of the regular cable package. That's right. It became free or included in your cable package. All the families with little kids, myself included, we were ecstatic because my husband and I were trying to figure out, we were like, man, we really need to buy the Disney Channel because the only other thing that you had in basic cable at that time was PBS. And PBS was great for the morning, but they didn't necessarily have afternoon shows for toddlers. And, sometimes they would have, I don't know, dramas and news. They have a lot of things like that on there. So it wasn't something that was just 24/7 cartoons like the Disney Channel was, or for the most part, right? And so we were trying to figure out, like, can we budget that in? We really want to do this. And then they made it free. And everybody was doing dances. Everybody was like, this is amazing. Well, they did that. And then they immediately got access to our kids and to us, and they had unlimited ability to advertise to us. Totally marketed to our kids all the new movies that were coming out that we just had to go buy or we had to go see in the movie theater. All of the merchandise, everything that our kids wanted for Christmas. You didn't even have to have the Target catalog or the JCPenney catalog anymore. You saw it on TV and you were marketed to, and oh my gosh, I have to have this princess thing, or I have to have this Mickey Mouse Clubhouse thing. All of their shows, all of their characters, everything they made, they marketed. And it was exclusively Disney. And they knew that 98% of the households were tuned in to this kid friendly, toddler friendly shows that they had on for the majority of the day, right? Do you remember, if you remember this, I don't know, do you remember watching the Disney Channel growing up or with your little kids? Do you remember the Walking Down Main Street commercial? Every once in a while it would play. I remember thinking when my little daughter was watching the Disney Channel and watching her cartoons, we knew exactly what came on when. And we would see this Walking Down Main Street little advertisement. It was like a full song. And it used to come in the videos, like if you requested information to help you plan a Disney trip, they would send you a VHS tape. Yes, they really did that. They sent you a VHS tape and they would have that Walking Down Main Street song and Minnie and Mickey and the Fab Five, and they were walking down Main Street, USA, and they're singing this little song. It reminded me of Schoolhouse Rock, which is totally dating me now. Yes, I grew up watching Saturday morning cartoons in the 70s, and Schoolhouse Rock was in between like every half an hour cartoon show. And I just remember thinking, wow, that's kind of like Schoolhouse Rock. Just because it was, something that you were learning. It was kind of like a commercial, but it was all music. So anyway, that was just a thought that I remember having way back in like the early 2000s when my daughter was little and watching the Disney Channel for free, well, as part of our cable package. So you take those roots from the 90s, the 2000s, and now you add in all of the content that is around Disney. Disney is a hot topic. And there are a lot of people out there with content and making money off of Disney. Did you know that on YouTube, I mean, there's a copyright thing, right? So if you use somebody else's content or you use a song, and you use more than 15 seconds of it, then there is a copyright flag when you upload this video, and you either can't post it, it's blocked. If the creator of the original content says, I don't want anybody using my content, then your video might get blocked and unpublished, nobody sees it, or you have to split proceeds with the creator of that content. Disney has the copyrights on there. Whenever I load something up, and maybe it's in the parks and we load up the songs or whatever, or I've put full shows on here and it'll show copyright, but it's okay because Disney knows that there are thousands of people out there creating content around Disney, and that's just free advertising for them. So why would they block usage of their characters and their images and their movie clips or their songs? Because there's a whole lot of people out there that they don't have to pay anything to that are promoting Disney. So you add that, which you are surrounded by, I'm sure, especially if you've been researching Disney, then everything Disney shows up in your newsfeed. Am I right? Am I right? But then you're on maybe social media. Maybe you're on Instagram or you're on Facebook. Yes, I'm old school. I'm still on Facebook. Maybe you're on some other kind of social media that I am just refusing to get on because I'm stubborn. But you see your neighbor or somebody from church or somebody from the school or somebody in one of your clubs, and boom, they have taken their kids to Disney. And you're like, wow, I didn't know they were Disney people. And so that adds to that feeling that you are obligated to take your kids to Disney because these people are doing it and you didn't even know that they were Disney people. We're not Disney people. I guess this is something that we do. Or you see in their post, oh, my kids are the perfect age and it was so magical. And you're like, oh, crap. I guess I got to take my kids to Disney. No, you don't. First of all, every picture that you see on social media, it's probably staged. And I will be the first to admit that there are lots of pictures that I have on my social media trying to show people that we're having a great time. And not 3 seconds before I snapped the picture, I was like, y'all better smile. Because they were fighting and bickering with each other and nobody was cooperating. And I put the camera up and they're like, and then as soon as I click the picture and I get it posted, we are off and we're having another fight. So you're seeing somebody's outside or what they're portraying as their outside, and you're comparing it to your inside, and you're never going to win that battle. Maybe your kids are just not those kids. Right? You see somebody post and they're like, oh, we did this and we did this and we did this. And then we're sitting there and we're watching the fireworks. And my child says, Mom, this has just been the best day. And it was all worth it. Guess what? Those ain't my kids. I'm not going to hear that from my kids, no matter how hard I work. And you know if you're going to hear that from your kids or not. And if you know that you're not going to hear that from your kids, then maybe Disney is not for you. Again, if they're not really into Disney and Disney characters and some of the Disney IPs, you're not going to get that emotional response. And that's the payment you're looking for all the work that you're doing. So you've been heavily marketed to. Disney is everywhere with all of the social media and the content creators and the influencers. You've got people that you didn't think were Disney people taking their kids to Disney. And if you ask them, a lot of times they will say, yeah, we took the other kids at this age. We felt like we had to take this kid at this age. So we did it because we did it for the oldest one. And I mean, once you start with one kid, you feel obligated. Okay, we did the same thing. I took my oldest daughter. She was 4. Then we're like 7 years later. Okay, I guess it's time. We need to take this one. She's 4. We actually did not take our youngest two at those ages. We were going to, and then my husband ended up having surgery, so we didn't go. And then when we ended up moving to Florida, my kid says, I want to go to Legoland. They had no desire for Disney. Not that we didn't watch Disney shows, but they wanted to go, she wanted to go to Legoland. So that's what we did. And that's the passes that we bought. So maybe ask your kids, like, if you had one place that you'd really love to go as a special birthday or a special holiday treat or, a special, maybe your graduation or whatever, where would that be? It might not be Disney. And then, whew, you're off the hook, right? Dodge that bullet. So, what are some things that you could do? Well, I just mentioned we're going on a cruise. This is Samara's senior year. This is her last semester. The plan is that she's going to move out and go to college. We're hoping that happens. We don't know. We haven't heard yet. So, but that's what we're planning on. So this is like her last semester home, and we wanted to do something fun, right? So we're taking her on a cruise. This is her senior trip cruise. She experienced a cruise. We did go on a Disney cruise back before the world shut down, but she was 12. So now we're taking her, and she'll be an adult, 18. So there's different areas of the cruise ship that she's going to have access to, but because she's still in high school, she should also have access to like the high school hangout area. I'm not totally sure about that. I don't think it's like 13 to 17. I thought it was high school, but I could be wrong. But I don't know. There's a lot of great things for her to do, and she's excited to explore. My friend Stephanie, who I went on the mom trip with, oh, that was a blast. I will link that here. Her son, they took them on a Royal Caribbean cruise as well. Those big ships, they're massive and they're amazing, and there's so much to do, and there's so much free food all the way around. But her teenage son, she's like, I think he ate at Boardwalk hot dogs like 6 times a day. He loved it. He's like, yeah, hot dogs, and it's all included. So, yes, there are restaurants that you can pay for, but there's so much that's included. Just like let the kids run free, right? You totally can. It's great. Where else could you go? There are events. I mean, you could come to Orlando. There are tons of resorts. There are tons of Airbnbs. There are tons of places that are totally themed. Like my friend who's got this house. I seriously think I'm going to crash her vacation in November just to go check out this house because it looks amazing in the pictures. I don't know. I might, kick the kid out and say, I'm sleeping in the dragon bedroom. No, of course, I wouldn't do that. But yes, I definitely want to see this house. But you could just have a staycation, do a beach trip. You don't have to be on the ocean. This is how we figured, like, you're already driving. We were driving from Illinois, right? You've already driven 14, 16, 20 hours. Like, have a landing spot and then just do day trips. We took a trip to the beach for a few hours. It was only another hour. Seriously. After you drive 20, what's another hour? But there are all kinds of activities that you can do. There's more to do in Orlando than just Disney. So it's still a great vacation spot, but that doesn't mean you have to go to Disney, right? We have Legoland, we have SeaWorld, we have Busch Gardens, we have Universal, we have, Universal has now 3 theme parks and a water park. So there's I don't know, there's like chocolate factory things. We've done mystery dinner. There's a Titanic dinner. Like, there's so many things to do. I will tell you though, they ain't nothing free in Orlando. I came from an area where there was a lot of free or inexpensive family activities. So it was a sticker shock when we moved to Florida, and like everything costs money. So you do still have to have a budget, and maybe Disney would be cheaper after all of that. It seems amazing to even think that Disney would be cheaper, but you can really spend a lot of money just doing all these little activities. But there are free things too. We have a lot of natural springs here, and those are great fun. You rent some tubes and just float down the springs. The water's clear, it's cool, it's like 72 degrees year round, even when it's 100 degrees outside. It's too cold for the alligators, although you might see them like sitting on a down tree or a rock like by the springs. Yeah, we've seen those. But mostly turtles and fish and birds. Mostly turtles. I don't even remember seeing a lot of fish, but I digress. There are lots of things that you could do instead of Disney. So I just want to give you that permission, and you can tell if that, I hope that empowers you that if you're not Disney people, you don't have to go. And feel free to use me as a scapegoat. Say, you know what, this Disney vlogger told me that I didn't have to go, and she really explained it well. We're not Disney people. We choose to use our money on some other vacation, and we asked our kids, what would be one dream thing that they would want to do, and they said all-inclusive resort, or they want to go on a cruise, or maybe they are huge roller coaster people, and you just spend several days like driving from one amusement park to another amusement park. Cedar Point, Six Flags, there's endless possibilities. What's the other one? There's one in Kansas City, and I can't think of what it is. I was there. Oceans of Fun and Worlds of Fun. There it is. Like, there are lots of places that have huge roller coasters. If your kids are like thrill riders, Disney ain't it. Seriously, Disney ain't it. The rides are okay and they're nostalgic, but they're not thrilling. You maybe have one in each park that is unique or exciting, but that's one. Then what? What are you going to do? All right, I have rambled long enough. I want to thank you for joining me. If you have not subscribed, would you please subscribe to my channel? You can hit that notification bell, like this video, send it to a friend who is thinking maybe they are supposed to go to Disney, but they don't really want to. If they're dreading the whole thought of planning it, just send them this video. And I want to thank you for sticking with me. If you hung out this long, then post in the comments cruising, because that's what we're going to be doing in just 2 days. I'm going to be on a ship in 2 days, and I am so excited. I cannot wait. And I can't wait to tell you all about it. Bye, friends.